and welcome to episode 148 of Gamers of the Lost Spark podcast. I'm your host, Antony Chesson, and joining me this week, it's the other Spark on the pod. He's back by popular demand. It's Mr. Stuart Burgess. Hello, sir. How you doing?
Yeah, good evening, young man. Yeah, 2 weeks in a row. I think this is a record.
Absolutely. See, people didn't get fed up with us talking about gadgets for about half an hour last week, so it's good.
No, there was no letters of complaint. I didn't see anything on the WhatsApp feed, so we decided to grab the bull by the horns and bore you lot again. Sorry, I had discussions with you lot again.
A discussion, sir, a discussion. So, anyway, let's jump into it. How's your week been?
Yeah, it's been good, yeah. Work-wise, been tiring. As we were just talking about off air, I've just started first fixing for a cinema local to me, for a private cinema for a client. So I forget how tiring sometimes it can be just constantly for 3 days pulling cables around the house, wiring the speakers in before you get to the sexy stuff at the end and playing with the nice kit.
Yes.
So that's been fun. Saturday I went up to Bedgebury, which is somewhere close to both of us. It's sort of like it's sort of like a forest sort of commission place where you can do mountain biking and that. And one of the company's white bikes had an open day.
Right.
So me and my friend Matt went up there with our bikes in the back of the vehicles, and we spent 2 hours cycling around there on their bikes. So
right. So it was like a try before you buy kind of thing.
Yeah. It was basically come up and look at our new range, take it out for half an hour, and come back. And I think we did that with three different parts of their bikes, and we were both trying each other's, and so that was really good. And yes, just contemplating on looking at a new bike, but I think I've managed to rein myself back in and just go, no, I'm staying with the one I've got. I don't need a new one. So
yes,
I did very little riding last year, so I need to get back into it properly before I start spending the money again.
Yes. So what kind of bike is it? Like an off-road bike, or is it kind of?
Yeah. So these were basically full suspension off-road bikes. So at Bedgebury, you have a sort of family route that you can go, and then you have sort of single track, which is not really sort of like massive rocky jumps, things like that, but it's just sort of like you can get some serious speed on there, and it's great fitness, great fun. But yeah, they had I took out, I can't remember, I think I took out a T130, an S120, and an S150. No, a T130 and S150. So they're all very different bikes. So like the S150 had more travel at the front, so it's made for bigger jumping, where it's slower if you're like cycling uphill and things like that. So it's really confusing. The only way, and this is a weird analogy, but it's almost like if you were to do a wine tasting or a beer tasting, Steve, you're probably very familiar with these, and you try so many that you get to the point where you can't distinguish the tastes. So if you look at it in red wine, you can't distinguish a Merlot from a Shiraz from a Cabernet Sauvignon. So it was really useful, but I did walk away going, well, I like a bit of that one, and I like a bit of that one, and I like a bit of that one. So I ended up making the joke saying, are you doing some sort of offer today, like buy two get one free? But they weren't. So But
right,
yeah, but no, that
you can imagine going, well, it's a little bit windy today, or it's a little bit wet out there, so I'm going to take this bike out, and then just kind of unracking that. Oh, I used to love doing that. I used to love doing single track riding. I had a gorgeous bike. It had full kind of hydraulic brakes. It had a big old spin. A big old cylinder. It was like a cylinder. What do you call it? It was just so nice. It was just when you took it off track, it just felt so smooth.
Yeah.
The kind of hydraulics, the suspension. It was like a hydraulic suspension, and it was just, and you could adjust that, and every now and then you had to kind of get it gassed. And I just absolutely used to love it. I used to go riding kind of like almost every weekend. But then it was so funny. I was, God, this must be about probably 12, 13 years ago, and I was out with one of the guys I used to do the kind of single track with, a chap by the name of Bob, and he was 74, and he was going so fast that I was trying to keep up, and at this point I'm jumping, I'm trying to do some jumps and stuff like that, and then I was kind of following his track, and I clipped a stump, and my feet came out of the cleats, and I just basically skidded, and I went so far that I basically, on my my elbow, I've got a scar where a piece of flint went in one side, but they had to take it out the other side because it was so far in. And at that point, when I was kind of like nursing this wound, I just basically said, "Sell my bike." And one of my friends who'd been kind of riding with us one weekend, he was like, "I'll buy it straight away," and he was like, "I'll buy it," and he kind of bought it. I think maybe I might have kind of bought a 360 or something like that off the back of it.
That's a lot safer. That's a lot safer.
Yeah.
First of all, I can't ride with cleats. I like to free pedal it. I just especially on single track. I understand that some people like it.
But I had the trainers. I had the trainers. You know, the trainers that would help you kind of click into clean side. I had the spongiest shorts. They were amazing. I kept them for a while, but they were just so lovely.
But no, the biggest thing, and listener to the show, John up in the Lake District, is probably now rolling his eyes at me. But it's the first bikes I'd ridden where they've basically got a trigger controlled seat.
Right.
So as you're riding along and you basically press the your left finger, you can basically push the seat down, so the seat will drop or the seat will pop back up.
Right.
So yeah, I mean, I knew they existed, but I haven't had a bike with them recently, and that was just like, oh look, this is a new toy. So I'm putting it down and jacking it back up again. But that was quite cool. But yeah, it's been a few years since I've ridden a new bike. I mean, my one's about 3 years old. I tend to use a hardtail bike, a 29-inch hardtail bike. So big wheels, lots of speed. Got rid of my full suspension bike, but yeah, look at these ones at the weekend. It is almost like, okay, I think I'm going to get back into it. And we're heading up to the bike show in London at XL in a couple of weekends. So have a look at some new shiny up there and see what's around. Because I know John gave us the advice to look at the specialised ones, which I've got. Right. I've already, my road bike and my current bike are specialised. So yeah, so that's been good. Work has been busy. Yeah, looking at some new shiny tech. We've got an Oculus. I've got an Oculus Rift, which I got before Christmas with my gaming PC, which I think I mentioned on the show before. But I also got an Oculus Go a few weeks ago because one of my fellow industry buddies is doing our 3D renders of rooms in Oculus now. So you can almost you could take it with you. You know, it's got a library of about 12 images on there, so you could basically say to a client, put this on and this is what a cinema room looks like. So we've been using that recently, which is really good. But I've been looking at the Insta360X 3D camera, not 3D cameras, 360 degree cameras. Because what we can do with Oculus is we can basically do like a concept to completion, so we can take a 3D image, or sorry, not 3D, I'm saying 3D again. We can take a 360 image of a cinema room, and then Simon can put that into the Oculus as well. So we can sort of say to a client, this is the 3D render at the conception stage, and this is the actual room in, a 360 degree photograph now finished. So that was quite good. But then when I looked at their website last night, they've released a new camera now, which is I think it's an Insta 360 or something like Evo or something like that. But it's this weird little thing. So it's like a square, and what you can do is you can open it up and you can video 3D. And then you can close it back up on itself, and it will shoot 360 degree out of one camera. And it's like a little cube. But what they've done is they look like I don't know if they developed it, but what you can do is you can shoot it in 3D, then you can put your phone inside a special case, which actually will show it back to you in 3D, but you don't need any glasses on.
Right. Oh, that's so cool. Yeah. So it's like glasses as 3D.
Yeah, basically. So I was but it's classic because I was going to go and get the Insta360, then I saw this new shiny and went, oh, I don't know which one to buy now. So I thought, well, I think it was only launched a couple of days ago, so I'm just going to hold back, watch a couple of YouTube videos, and just see what initial reports of it are. And I don't need it right now, so make my mind up a little bit later.
Oh, that's really cool. Yeah, you can let some reviews kind of trickle in and get some people kind of play with it and stuff like that first.
Yeah, definitely. So what about you? What have you been up to?
I think the big one for me was Captain Marvel. So I went to see Captain Marvel on Saturday. So did my norm, which was kind of get up ridiculously early for a Saturday, go over to Blue Water for a coffee, and then we went to see the 10 a.m. showing of Captain Marvel. I must admit though, I think like people are cottoning on to this early morning movie malarkey, because there was a lot of people in the cinema at 10 a.m. At Blue Water. So I was quite, because normally it's this like me and a couple of other people, and that's it, like Nicola and I and a couple of other people. But there was a lot of people. I mean, I know Captain Marvel.
It's because some idiot talks about it on a podcast. I know. A couple of thousand people every week.
I've got a life hack. We could do it this way. And it was just so, I was really quite surprised. I'm like, what are you doing here? So the movie itself is really good. You know, it's a really good movie. I won't kind of get into any of the nitty gritty or spoil it, but I will say that it kind of started off on a moment that really kind of had me. It had me, you know, it kind of made me a little bit kind of tearful, because what they did was the Marvel logo that always appears at the start of every movie, and it kind of flicks through the pages of the comic, shows you some imagery, normally around the character that you're about to see, you know, whether it's the Avengers, Spider-Man, whatever. It was all Stan Lee, and they basically had this montage of all of Stan's cameos.
Oh, brilliant.
And it really did just kind of hit you. You know, you kind of sat there and you were like, oh, and it just kind of, you know, it made me well up a little bit. And at the end, when they kind of did the Marvel Studios with Stan Lee, they just kind of cut to black, and they just had like, thank you, Stan, and then they got into the movie, and I was just like, it was such a nice moment to just kind of, you know, honour the legend that is Stan Lee, and I just really liked it. But it really did just kind of hit me in the feels.
It was nice.
It hit me in the feels.
It was nice they did it at the beginning as well, because usually they do that type of thing at the end. And of course, you know, movies can be a little bit like football matches sometimes, where if people just are sitting there waiting for the credits to roll, then they're out and they're off, you know. So actually, that's nice they did it at the beginning. So it's almost like, you know, hopefully everybody there in the room watching it obviously was, you know, sympathetic to the fact that he has passed. But it was nice sticking him right up in front, so everybody had to watch it, but showing you how important he was to the brand, basically, to the creation of it.
Absolutely. I mean, it's quite funny you say about the end credits, because, and PSA, there are 2, so do not leave. There are still a few people that leave Marvel movies when the credits roll. Now, we've been doing this for 11 years, people. Why are you still leaving? You know, it's just like, it made me laugh so much. And the first one was a corker, the second one was really funny, but you were just like, why are you people leaving? You know, and it just really made me chuckle. You know, after the first couple, it always felt like a bit of a kind of, you know, I'm a nerd, I know there's going to be something there, you know, that kind of stuff. But just to see people kind of go, you're just like, you just don't get it, do you?
I'm surprised you don't stand at the bottom and say, look what you're missing. Don't go. You're missing it.
It's a fact.
Turn around.
It's a fact that it's still dark. The lights haven't come up and any of that. So the movie itself is really good. You know, it's really good. It's a really good introduction of Karen Danvers, of Captain Marvel, and it's just a really nice kind of brings it all in, and it's quite nice to have an introduction of a brand new character this far in. You know, we're like 10, 11 years in, we're just about to get to Endgame, and it's really nice just to kind of get this injection of a new character. So, and she's fantastic. You know, it's like, I'm not too familiar with Captain Marvel, but recently, the way that Marvel does with every new character and every movie, they always kind of they reset. So the comic books, the week before Captain Marvel came out, you could get Captain Marvel issue 1, which is almost like a retelling from a comic book stand. So I picked that up and started reading that. So I'm kind of, Captain Marvel for me was one of those characters that would just appear in an Avengers crossover, or she would appear, you know, in other kind of big summer crisis things, and she would just come in and be a badass. So that's kind of where I kind of know Captain Marvel. But the movie feels very much like Guardians of the Galaxy. You know, it kind of fits very much like that. There's a couple of characters from the original Guardians, from Guardians 1, that make appearance in there. And also, whenever they go to a new planet, they have the little name and the number, which is the exact same as Guardians 1 and 2. So they really make it feel like it kind of fits into the universe quite well. So I really loved it. Stan's cameo was amazing on so many levels, so many geek levels. And again, I'm not going to spoil it. It's been around on the internet for a couple of days because obviously we can't keep these things shush. You know, people kind of. It's really funny because I went to see it on Saturday morning. Obviously, it came out on Friday. I just ignore Twitter. You know, I just scroll past things, and there was a few people that I do scroll past because they are. Love them, but they are very loose-lipped. Kevin Smith is one of them. Greg Miller is another one. You know, they will just put their emotions out on Twitter. So I that day or that morning, I was just kind of scrolling past. And I'm so glad I did because I got the Stan Lee cameo with all its glory, and that kind of also hit me. I think listening to Kevin Feige, we've got one more Stan cameo, and I think that's kind of going to be Endgame. So we've got one more Stan cameo. I don't know if they're going to maybe do it CGI or do something, but we've definitely got kind of one more Stan cameo.
Because I had heard that he'd recorded some before he's passed.
He recorded 4.
Oh, right,
he recorded 4. So those four were Infinity War. They were Infinity War, Captain Marvel, Endgame, and the one that came before, so Black Panther or whatever it was. That kind of. So he recorded 4. I think I was listening to Kevin Feige talking, and Stan was quite frail when they recorded the Captain Marvel one, so much so that they had to get the line that he delivers in the movie. They actually took it from another movie and overlaid it because he could only do one and a couple of takes. He was only there for like half a day, so they basically took that and they overlaid it. So I think Endgame might be our last proper one, but you know, they could CGI it as long as they do a better job than they did of Carrie Fisher in Rogue One. But even that, when you watch it now and you're used to it and your eyes know it's coming, it's not that bad. He says in quotes. But like I say, Captain Marvel was very cool, and today they dropped Endgame trailer.
Oh yeah, I saw that. Yeah. Trailer. I didn't see it. I haven't watched it because someone hasn't watched the first one yet. As in the first Avengers, the last one, whatever it's called. I can't remember.
You mean Avengers Assemble? The one was out.
No. I've watched that one. I've done that one on Age of Ultron. I've just not done. What was the last one?
Infinity War.
I'm embarrassing myself now. Infinity War. Yeah.
Punch yourself in the face.
Yeah.
No, it is.
I'm taking myself off to the naughty corner.
So I just showed it to Nicola just before I came up. I just showed the trailer to Nicola, and she was so funny because she sat there. She went, oh, that made me feel a bit emotional. She goes, play it again, put it on again. So we kind of ran it again, and it's good. But that's it now for me. When the trailer came up, I had a joke on kind of WhatsApp, and I was like, I don't want to watch it, but I do want to watch it, but I don't want to watch it, and it was really funny. And I just ended up, I was like, no, I want to watch it. And I think for me, trailers are very much, I'll watch the teaser. And then I'll watch that first big trailer, and then that's it. Yeah. You know, I'm now. We've only got a month and change. You know, it's the 25th of April. So we've already got a month and change. So I'm now dark on Endgame now. That's it for me. I don't want to know any more than what that trailer was kind of giving out, which isn't a lot. I must say it doesn't give out a lot, but it was very good. It was very good.
I might be able to catch up then because the carpet's going down in the dem room tomorrow. So, and I've picked up a nice shiny amp today, which I forgot to mention for it. So I might actually be able to cram them all in as long as I can get the screen up. I might be able to cram them all in and get back on point for Endgame in time.
What was the last one you watched?
What's that guy who wears a suit? Iron something?
No. That's everything.
Antony, where have you gone? You should shut it down. No.
And that's all we have time for tonight.
The last one I watched was, I think I've got... Second
Black Panther?
No, I think I've got Second Guardians to watch, and I think Black Panther. That was it, and then I think that's where I've stopped. So I've got I obviously watched. That's where I stopped because I watched Venom, but that's not part of the same. It is the same universe, isn't it? But it's not part of the same storyline. But I've got so I've got Guardians. I think I've got Thor Ragnarok.
See, what? You haven't seen Thor Ragnarok?
No.
So you got Thor Ragnarok, you got Black Panther, you've got Ant-Man and the Wasp, you've got Infinity War, you've got Captain Marvel.
Yeah,
Wow.
I think.
Have you seen Spider-Man: Homecoming?
Yeah, seen that one. Yeah, I've done that one.
Right,
yeah,
right.
yeah. So
Right.
no, I mean it was my. I mean, it's taken me a year to build this cinema, and I wasn't planning on being absconded from great movies for this long. But yeah. So I think I can do it. I think I can power through one Sunday and catch up.
Yeah, I tell you what. You know, last week I was talking about the cinema in Leicester Square, the Dolby Atmos cinema, and I always said that X Plus is my favourite one.
Yeah.
They mixed it weird
Yeah.
on Saturday. Yeah, to the point where at the start of the movie I had to go out. Now I'm sitting watching the movie. We're in our normal seats. You know, we're in G9 and 10, which is where my arse groove is. You know, we're there. We're watching the movie, and across the entire row was full. Yeah. And you're there, and they start talking. So Captain Marvel and Jude Law's characters, and you could barely make out what they were saying. And I just thought, it's fine. It's fine. It's okay. And then I look up and down the row, and every woman, and maybe guys with long hair as well, but every woman suddenly just took their hair behind their ears.
Oh, really?
And it was like this uniform, like, this is muffled. So they kind of, and so I got up, I ran out, I had a word with the manager, and I said, I don't know what you've done in Screen 15. I said, but it is not, it was almost like it was just a few speakers. It didn't
almost
seem
like
it was
the centre channel wasn't working, because that's where the vocal would be coming from.
And so I said to them, can you fix it? They didn't throughout the movie. So I spent about 5 minutes outside, spoke to a guy. They didn't fix it. And it was really evident in the movie. It's based in the 90s. So in the movie, they got a really good soundtrack. And there was one bit where Captain Marvel's having a bit of a fight. And No Doubt, I'm Just a Girl comes on.
All right, yeah.
And it was, you know, and when you get a song like that, which has quite a good kind of, you know, quite a good feel, quite a good beat to it, it was so quiet that all you could hear were the sound effects.
Yeah.
You know, it was almost just like, you know, you had Gwen Stefani singing quietly in the corner. So when I came out, because I just wanted to see if it's just me, you know, I was the only one that got up and walked out. I didn't want to be that finicky guy that always kind of complains. I don't want to do that. I wanted to be positive. So I went up to a couple of randos, scared the bejesus out of them, but went up to a couple of randos and I went, you know, I saw a guy, this sounds really weird, I saw a guy kind of come out of the cinema and we both headed to the toilet, yeah? So I didn't talk to him in the toilet.
I've heard about people like you.
Yeah, exactly. What did you think of the movie? But when we were outside, I said, because he was a tall chap, I was like, you've just seen Captain Marvel, haven't you? And he was like, yeah. And I said, what did you think of the sound? He said it was awful. He said it was mixed with, the speech was muffled. I was like, I know, right? So I called for another manager. When he came over, I said, look, I've just been to see Captain Marvel in the awesome Screen 15. I said, I love it. It's amazing. I said, but the mix is completely off, you know. And he was like, right. And I was just saying to him, I said, I'm not complaining, but all I want you to do is fix it in time for Endgame. I was like, you've got a month. And he was laughing and joking because he was like, yeah, no, I saw Captain Marvel in there last night. I was like, yeah, it's fantastic. I said, I love that cinema so much. I said, I just need you to fix it. And he did that thing where he was like, oh, do you want, we'll refund you. And I was like, I really don't want a refund because I've still got the refund tickets for when they faded to black during the Yoda scene in The Last Jedi and ruined that big reveal.
Yeah.
And then they gave us tickets, you know. So I said, every time I come to the cinema, I go, oh, can I use these tickets? And you never allow me to use them. I said, so I don't want a refund. I just want you to fix it. So it worries me, you know. Like Nicola was like, you're visibly worried that, you know, that it just takes the, you know, you go to a movie to just be transported to that world. And speech is so important in a story. And you want to be able just to kind of have everything at the same level. And it was, honestly, it was so rough. It was really rough on Saturday.
I mean, the thing is, you know, you're exactly right. I mean, you know, there's things that make a film what it is. And you know, the video, the visuals, the impactiveness, the immersiveness of it, but it's also the dynamic range of it. So the dynamic range of the audio. So, and it's what I I've never understood with people that watch like hooky copies of movies or just watch movies. I mean, I understand people, people might be in smaller houses, rent. They don't want to have little surround sound systems or anything like that. But if you go away from the world that I do, and even if you just look at like a one all-in-one box surround sound solution.
Yeah,
you still get some immersiveness, some dynamic range, and when you go to cinema, that's what you want. Maybe it's because if that's the first showing in the morning, I've had it before. If we're using processors and power amps, and a 12-volt trigger should turn on the power amps after you turn on the AV processor. But if that doesn't happen, you all of a sudden go, ooh, there's no bass. What's happened there? And you you go out and look at the rack, and it's because something's not tripped on because it's electronics. But you think that someone would go in there, especially as it's sort of the premium screen, and just go right. I mean, I don't know if they're allowed to, because I know some cinemas they're allowed to play that movie 60 times, let's say, and if they start playing it, that's a count as a one. But it would just be nice if they could go in there and play some type of demo disc or something, just to say, right, that sounds okay. Do some sort of calibration like you would do in a private cinema, where you could just basically, bung up, it does the sound channels or something like that. But yeah, it is a spoiler. Your all mortal words of "you're ruining Star Wars" just makes me laugh to this day.
That was my favourite. That was just my favourite. It was just
I tried to go to the Odeon the other day because I went up to London to see a client, and I was waiting for the tube, and I was like, ooh, I wonder what's on at the Odeon. And so I literally quickly on my iPhone had a look, and it was the one that won the Oscar for Best Supporting Actor. The book's in the title.
Oh, the Green Book. The Green Book.
That was on, which, okay, I want to see, but I'm not going to rush to see it at somewhere like that. But that was on at 8:30 at night. That was the only thing being shown in that cinema that day.
Wow.
And I just sort of sat there and went, hold on a second. I know it's not school holidays or anything like that, but I would have happily gone there and watched Bohemian Rhapsody, or would have happily gone there and just gone, oh, I know, I'll go and catch that film. A bit like you can at the BFI IMAX. But yeah, it was like, oh no, you go watch Bohemian Rhapsody on screen 3 or whatever, and you go and watch this on another screen, and it's like, oh, I want to go there, but I'm out of here. I don't want to be in London at 8:30 tonight. I want to be in Rye at 8:30 tonight. So that was a bit disappointing, but no, I'm sure they'll fix it, because I just phoned him up the night before. Have you got his mobile number so you can can WhatsApp him? Hi Barry, just checking that you've calibrated it. See you tomorrow morning.
I'll be looking for him at the midnight showing. I tell you, I'll be like, right.
Oh, is it a midnight showing as well?
Oh God, yeah. I cannot let Endgame. I cannot let any idiot spoil Endgame for me.
Oh, that's fine then, because it would have been running all day, so hopefully they would have...
Well, no, it won't be. It will be the first and only showing of that movie, won't it? Because it's a midnight showing, so that's the very first showing.
Yeah, but they would have been using that cinema in the day beforehand to show other things.
Don't make me even more nervous. Don't make me even more nervous.
Go and watch the film before it.
Yes.
And then just stay planted in that seat. Send Nicola out for some nachos and cheese or whatever, and then you'll be fine.
It'd be really good if they had like an Infinity War Endgame double bill.
Oh yeah,
and then you'd be able to just kind of get that. And it really did. It felt like, because like the Marvel 4K Blu-rays aren't mixed very well. I know there's a chap who works for, it might be Telegraph, Johnny Archer on Twitter. He's got a big thing at the moment where he's trying to canvass Disney to mix their Blu-rays better, and it felt like that, because sometimes when I'm at home, I'm turning up, turning down on a Marvel movie, which annoys the hell out of me, and it felt like that. It felt like we were doing that in the cinema, and it just kind of it was horrible. Anyway, that's enough about movies. We always tend to have about half an hour chatting about movies and gadgets. Stu, I know what I've been playing. What have you been playing, sir?
Well, there's only really one game.
Well, you've been playing two.
Well, I've been playing two, but I got criticised last time when I didn't go to Spider-Man straight away. So I have been playing Crackdown 3. I jumped into that at the weekend, I think, because I was not getting bored with Assassin's Creed. I can't remember if I said last week. Not Assassin's Creed, Far Cry. I sort of got that got that bit of fatigue in both of the games now, where I've played them so much. I was looking for something fresh, and after my biking escapade at the weekend, I went in and played some trials. The controller, it didn't get thrown, but it rage quit happened a few times. And then I re-downloaded Descenders, which was a sort of mountain biking game that was in early preview. I think I spoke about before, and that was quite good. And then I know you and Steve were talking about Xbox ID, and the points you can earn every month. And so I went in and
Xbox rewards.
That's it. Yeah. So I went in and downloaded a mountain biking game, not mountain biking, a BMX game, which was a bit funky. It was reminded me a bit of an iPhone game, but on the Xbox on the big screen. And then I'm just sort of thinking, actually, let's jump into Crackdown. So I played Crackdown. Probably played it I took down the first boss, and then I've gone quite into the first sort of two areas. I really think, and I've been enjoying it. It's a bit repetitive, and I get what you mean now when you're running through and you go, ooh, orb, and then you all of a sudden you veer off to the right hand side. You go and get this orb, and you're like, where was I going again? I've been really enjoying it. I quite like it. I've had no issues with it whatsoever. No issues in the single game mode. I've not obviously been doing co-op or not got into the multiplayer, but no issues. I can understand why people were criticising it. It doesn't really feel like a modern shooter, especially not when you flip over and talk about the next game that we've both been playing. But it was just fun. It was a bit mindless, a bit sort of jovial, but it was just enjoyable. Have you played it any more since last week?
No, I think I jumped in. There is a Nicola got the 500 orb achievement, so I've been trying to get that. I think I was kind of like a little bit behind that, so I had a quick. I think after I kind of, because as I said last week, I enjoyed it, but we had so many problems like playing it on like multiplayer, and I think after kind of giving it a bit of a tough time on the pod, I think the next day, because we would have recorded that on the Tuesday, so I think the next day after I finished work, I think I just came downstairs and I thought I'll throw it on the big TV, kind of play it and just collect some orbs, and it seems solid when you're playing it on when you're playing it on your own. It does seem solid, but I think it's just kind of when you go over and start playing co-op that it just kind of has some problems. But I just jumped around, grabbed some orbs, and that was it really. There was a whole area where suddenly it was like I obviously haven't been in this area because there was orbs everywhere.
Oh, right, okay.
You could see there were blue hidden ones and green, and it was just good fun to kind of get all of those and just jump around and get those, and occasionally some bads would come along that you could just take out with a rocket launcher. So it was good fun.
Yeah, no, I just found myself sort of going, right, okay, I'll go and get that orb, and then I'll go over and do that, and then I'll stop because I need to go and walk the dog or something like that, because I think it was Saturday I mainly hit it, and then you'd sort of like you'd be running along, and then all of a sudden you find yourself next to like a lockup where they were holding hostages, and you're like, oh, I might as well take these out, and then I'll quit. And it just kept me going into it. And I don't think it's not hooking me like Far Cry New Dawn was or Odyssey was, but I think just as a nice little game to when you're deep into something, to flip over and play a few hours on, that was fun. I really enjoyed it. I suppose the other thing that, thankfully for you, that I quickly started up and played was Forza Horizon, because we found out there was a little bug in the software that gave us loads of achievements when we logged back in. So thank you for that, because I logged back in and I literally sat there with the controller on my lap, and my Xbox was going, rare achievement, rare achievement, rare achievement. And I thought, like you, it might have been because we'd played it. Then I think, was it Manny or someone said, I haven't even...
It was Matt.
I haven't even played the British Racing Green yet, and I got the achievement for getting 30 stars. So... there's obviously some little bug in the software there.
It may have disappeared now, because they did give it an update because it's rolled around to summer, I think, now, right. As of today. But I don't know, I haven't checked. But it was just, it was quite interesting. I mean, like I say, it's so funny because I just assumed that I got it and the achievements hadn't popped. But then I think there was about 8, wasn't there? There was about 8 achievements, something like, I don't know, 250, 270 points, because there were some hefty ones in there as well. And they just kept popping. So I just kind of sat there and I was just like, it was like you're winning a fruit machine, you know. It was just they just kept popping. So it was quite. So I told the group, I was like, I think there's something wrong. I think.
Well, it was 30 stars on British Racing Green, 30 stars on the taxi one, wasn't it? And then a few others. So it did seem to be that because they were all rare achievements as well, I think.
Yes.
So if you're listening to this pod and you've got Forza Horizon, jump in because I might be able to get some free Achievos out of it. Not that we condone free Achievos, but yes. And if you're listening from Playground Games, you've got a bug in your game.
Yeah, just turn it on and then you'll be able to see. But it was just so fun. It was just like just sitting there, just popping. Because I do that, similar to probably Crackdown for you now. The Forza Horizon's still that for me, where I just kind of Sunday morning, Saturday morning, obviously not this Saturday because I wouldn't see Captain Marvel. But like Sunday morning, just kind of fire it on while I'm listening to a podcast. I'm just listening. So yeah, I think I got the skill streak, which is earn 30 stars in the skill streak. The taxi one, as you were saying, complete the first chapter. British Racing Green, get all of them. British Racing Green. It was just
it sounds about right. Yeah, it sounds exactly the same.
It really did just pop in a whole bunch that I'm happily. I hope they don't take them away from me.
No,
please, Playground Games, don't take them away from me. But yeah,
they're mine. Leave them alone.
Indeed, but I think the biggie of this week, out tomorrow. It's the Division 2, and what a game! What a game this game is. It's just we started playing it on Tuesday, didn't we? I think we started playing on Tuesday. I wasn't committing too much on Tuesday because we had the Inside Xbox that was on at 9 o'clock. So for me, kind of like I think Matt did about 10 hours,
didn't he? Had the day off, on
Tuesday. And but I think kind of I jumped into it last night. So how's your time in Division so far? In Division 2 so far?
I'm loving it. I mean, to be honest, I went to I didn't try and recreate James in the character creation. I went straight into not a randomise, but I went in and changed my look a little bit. I wish I spent a little bit longer on it now. I'm not sure if you can go back and tweak it. I don't know.
I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know.
But no, jumped in, felt really good. I didn't really play a lot of Division 1 because I sort of got to the point where I know you guys were in it quite a lot and I couldn't jump in it. And then it got to that point where I'm like, I think I'm so far behind now. I don't know whether I don't know whether my, like we were saying last week about the levels, I don't know whether I'm now so far behind, I'm just not going to be able to play with you guys. So, I jumped in and did the first few bits, went to the White House, went off to the theatre afterwards, and yeah, it just felt great. I mean, I think it was can't think of it's when you're on your way to the theatre, you go through a bit where it's all foggy,
right,
and it felt really good. It felt like you could play it single player and you weren't missing out on it. It didn't feel tutorialish. It felt like it was sort of like just giving you the game and feeding it to you slowly. It was nice that it didn't have auto aim, so as soon as you go to pull the trigger to zoom in, your target wasn't on the player. I did spend most of my time shooting the wall next to the guy, not the guy himself. But yeah, I mean, I probably played it for about an hour and a half or so. I was going to try and jump in last night, but I was so hyped after Liverpool's amazing win in Europe that I was physically drained. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to, jumping online with you guys this weekend and giving it some serious time. But yeah, really enjoyed it. Looks stunning, feels great. Yeah, I'm looking forward to spending many hours in it. What about yourself? I gather you're enjoying it as well.
Oh, I absolutely love it. I mean, like I say, I've just looked on the Xbox app. I played about 74 hours of the First Division, so I kind of clocked up a lot of time. That kind of shows where my kind of excitement level for Division 2 was. But I like I say, I played it for a little bit on Tuesday, and then just kind of, I think I played it after the Inside Xbox, which we'll get to a bit later. And I started playing it. I wanted to get used to the controls, because I was always, when we played it before, I was always the one going, Manny, how do I equip that?
Yeah.
What's this? So I thought, no, this time I'm not going to disappoint Manny. I'm not gonna hear James's eye rolls. I'm gonna learn the mechanics. So it's quite nice to kind of jump in, and it does kind of teach you that. So I went to the White House, unlocked the quartermaster, started equipping all of the things that I need to do. So I was going through all of that. Managed to unlock my little White House chopski that I got for playing the beta, which is quite nice. That's hanging off the back of my backpack, which I'm loving. I kind of created a hideous character. It looks a bit like Steve, actually, but I got rid of the hair, because who wants long hair?
Oh, okay.
So I got rid of the long hair, but it's under a beanie, so you'll never be able to tell. So I just kind of like was going in. I went through, unlocked the theatre, kind of went to the first level after that, which was that big room that I've done a couple of times in the betas. So you go and you have to rescue the lady who's at the theatre. You have to rescue her daughter. So I kind of went and did that mission, which was really cool. Managed to do that on my own, which I was quite impressed at. So went through, didn't die. I was really kind of enjoying it, really using the cover, because like Gears of War and things like that, the Division 2 is a cover-based shooter, and you really need to like pop in, press A, pop into that cover, and then the thing I love about the Division is when you see the next piece of cover, you can just hold A and you'll run to that next piece of cover, and then you'll just kind of go straight into it, and it's just so lovely. One of the things that from my playthrough with Matt and Rob last night that the guys taught me was that if you run up to a bonnet of a car and press B, you do the best Starsky and Hutch kind of slide over the bonnet. It pops an achievement as well, which is glorious. Serious? Yeah, it pops a TV cop achievement, and you just run up. You run to the bonnet, just as you get to the bonnet, you press B, and you just slide, and it was glorious. So, was playing that, and then so I was playing a bit on my own last night. Matt wasn't online, so I was playing on my own. Then Matt kind of popped up online, and also another friend, Rob, kind of just was there as well. So both those guys, they'd already chalked up about 10 hours on launch day, because this was like launch day +1. So they invited me into the game, and it was great, because at this point I was level 3. So I was level 3 and these guys were level 8. But what it did was it shows the 3 in the top right hand corner.
Yeah.
But next to that, it shows a little up arrow, and it showed an 8.
Oh, okay.
So it basically, it's where I was saying before, where I went in with a friend, and I was basically just the target, and I had to hide crying in the corner. This time, I could hold my own. With the guns I had, with the equipment I had, they had all had a bump that enabled me to kind of play in Matt's game, basically. And plus I was still earning level up, because at one point I leveled up, I went to level 4, and then Matt must have gone to level 9, because the little arrow in the top right hand corner then suddenly went to 9. So it's kind of keeping me in line, and at no point, I went down a couple of times, actually I went down about 3 times in one bit, but apart from that, I didn't feel like I was overpowered by the guys coming in. So we didn't do any story missions, we didn't do any side missions, we were just kind of clearing, because we knew we had about 2.5 hours, we were just going in and we were just clearing some little dots on the map. So we're staying in that first zone, because I don't know if you've looked at the map, but you can see that it's zoned to the level that you're on. We got to the edge of the level, I think there was like level, I don't know, 12 to 17 or something, and we just decided to pull back at that point, and we'd go and do some other stuff. So it was really cool just to kind of go there. We did some of the there's things where there's these towers, or these little mobile towers that are kind of like, they have speakers on, and then you activate the speaker. They have a proper name, but you activate the speaker, and then you've got about 3 waves of bad guys just coming at you, and you have to defend that kind of area. So that was really cool. Managed to pick up some really nice weapons, got some nice loot, so I've started to like level up all of my armor, and I was just really loving it. It feels good. The guns feel different. So whatever guns you're getting, I haven't unlocked mods yet, and I haven't unlocked the clans yet. They come a bit later. But one of the guys we were playing with, Rob, he's definitely he's unlocked the mods, and he had a really awesome weapon. He had an awesome weapon that he was kind of using, and it was fantastic, and it was really cool.
No, I've been because I've been in a basement this week, literally not on my own, but with loads of other people, no radio playing. I've sort of had one of my earpods in, one of the old Apple AirPods. I had one of those in my ear, and I literally was just I had some podcasts just playing solidly, and a few people in that were talking about the levels, and I think it was Kind of Funny or Gamescast or something like that, but they were sort of saying, one of theirs said about, have they sorted out the level thing, about, if you go and play with someone that is advanced to you, you're not, you're basically not a bullet sponge. And they were like, oh yeah, they've changed this. So that sounds like a really good idea, but it's nice that they show your level and then they show the level you're up to. So with your guns, is it still the same gun, but it just works better? They don't soup it up with loads of optics and then strip them all away again later. It's just more efficient.
No, same gun. So it's same gun, same kind of damage level and all of that. But for some reason, I was not struggling with those guys. So whether they were kind of almost, it's how I would see them if they were level 3. But I'm in the level 9 area, so it was just. But they were fine. I mean, maybe kind of Matt and Rob were taking the guys down a bit easier. I don't know. It might just be my inaptitude of playing.
Were you facing the bad guy, or were you shooting in the opposite direction?
No. I was definitely facing the right way. I was definitely facing up, but it was good. So they really have kind of, and that felt nice, and that felt great for us because obviously. Matt and I have already started. Manny and James are coming in. I think they're both busy this weekend. Yeah. Bad diary management, guys. Bad diary management. And then so they are both coming in. I think next week. So I'm hoping that at some point. Obviously, we've got that 8-player raid that's going to be coming as well. So that's going to be awesome fun. But I'm looking forward to maybe not this Friday, but maybe next Friday to be all of us to be ready for a bit of Dark Zone because I think that Dark Zone could be a really cool play. That could be good fun because I didn't do it in the beta. I don't know if it was available in the beta, but I haven't done it in the beta and I haven't done it yet. I haven't been into the Dark Zone, and I did enjoy the Dark Zone in the original one. So which is really cool because if you start to shoot someone else, everybody knows where you are. Everybody kind of goes for you. You have to extract your loot. All of that sort of stuff is just it's just so much fun.
Did Steve get his copy today, or is he still waiting?
He did not. No, Steve didn't get his copy from Boomerang, but Steve didn't get his copy from Boomerang because he never sent his previous one back in time.
Oh, that'd be why then.
Damn you, Steve. Damn you, Steve.
Schoolboy.
But because he was like, I'm still waiting for them to receive my last one. I'm like, you didn't plan this right, did you? So
I've got to say, actually, I swapped. It was funny because I was getting nervous of the fact that my copy would turn up from Amazon because I was doing. I think I said last week. I'm not 100% sold on this game because I didn't play a lot of the first one. I don't want to drop the money on it and buy it digitally because I can't get it back. As I said last week, I enjoyed Red Dead, but I do feel like I wasted my money with it. I would have much preferred renting it or buying it physically. But when the thing came out that there was a day one patch of whatever it was, 80 gig or something like that, or if you're buying the physical copy, you've basically got to stick the disc in, then you've still got a massive download to do. I think that sort of put me off a bit, so I cancelled my Amazon pre-order and bought it digitally. That downloaded on Sunday, I think it was. That was just downloaded in the background Sunday. I looked at it just before I went to bed on Monday night and it wasn't there, but we were talking 11:30, something like that. I woke up Tuesday morning and fired it up, and about 6:30, and boom, it was there. Straight in, no updates, nothing. Did my character creation, and then had to go to work. So it was. I've been really impressed with it. Nothing. nothing so far is glaringly sticking out. I just want to get in there and play some more.
Yeah, I noticed this evening because when I finished work a little bit late. Nicola wasn't home. I thought, do you know what? I'm going to fire up the Division and I'm just going to have a quick kind of wander around, shoot some bads, have a little bit of play, still kind of get my feelers, get used to it. But there was a 900 meg update.
Oh, okay.
So there was a 900 meg update, and for some reason my Xbox One X, the main one, that is just not updating automatically at the moment. It's just not.
Damn you! I can't reach my controller. Can I go away? Can I go for a second? Because I can see my controller and I want to play it after this.
so I was like, right, I'm gonna jump in, and I sat there and I was like, 938 meg, and I was just like, but I sat there and I was listening to a podcast and just sat there, and then it was so funny. It finished updating. It finished updating, and then I jumped in, loaded up my character. It did the whole kind of 100% around the ring, and then the doorbell went, and Nicola was home. I was like, oh, damn it! I was like, I cannot catch a break. So then we made dinner. So it was just crack me up that it was just but there is a 900 meg. If your Xbox is not, like I say, I want to figure out what's happening with my Xbox because it's just not updating.
Yeah, I mean, mine seems to be doing it, I would imagine, but every now and again I have to sort of start it up. Although I think segueing slightly or going on deviant slightly, I have signed up to my new business broadband at my office today, so I might well be playing my games from the office from now on because we've been getting about 1 megabits per second download speed, so sometimes I actually struggle to watch iPlayer.
Yeah.
And as part of our glorious government, they've done the getting business centres up to super fast broadband. So I literally have a fibre box straight outside my front door.
Yes.
Looked at BT. Obviously, the other people do it as well, but I looked at BT today, and I can get up to 400 megabits per second.
That's glorious.
I've not gone for 400. I thought that was a bit greedy. It's about. It's not actually that bad. It was £65 plus VAT a month. So about £80 a month. That was 375. With an upload of like 200, it's ridiculous.
Wow.
I've gone for a sensible 100 with an upload of about 30 to 50. So I think that's costing me like £55 a month.
That's really cool.
So so I can't wait to do that because even at home, my upload speed's not great. It can take me 6 or 7 hours to upload a 10-minute video to YouTube, a HD video. So, I'm gonna fire it up tonight here. I might jump in tonight actually and have a bit of a play. I've sort of caught up with a lot of TV series now. Sadly got to the end of Daredevil and sadly got to the end of Punisher. Let's hope they come back some way. But I'm really enjoying Division. I'm looking forward to jumping in with you guys and getting a bit more into the clan, really learning a bit more about it.
Absolutely. I mean, like I say, the world is amazing.
Looks stunning.
I mean, I love New York. I love New York as a place, so I really enjoy playing the first one. And I've never been to Washington, so I don't really have any frame of reference. But I'm really enjoying it. It's really cool, and it's so. It sounds weird, but it's so littered. There is so much. There's so much stuff that's there, and it was really good playing with Rob last night, Rob and Matt, because Rob seems to have some kind of way of sniffing out loot. So he was just going, there's loot over here, and he's so cool. And he's there zigzagging. Matt and I are just star jumping, and Matt's pointing out a donut shop, but Rob's like, there's loot over here, there's loot over here. So I picked up so much loot playing with Rob, and it was really good fun. And
so what happens with that? So if he sees loot, it's not a first one gets it, but you all see it. You all see it and you all pick it up.
Yeah, so if you see loot, it's normally either a backpack or a box or something like that. When he opens that box up or opens up the backpack by pressing X on the Xbox, it then just throws up like a beacon.
Okay.
So you then see like whether it's kind of a gold or green or blue or white, you just see that, and then you walk over and grab that loot. So whether it's things that you can give to the leaders of the base, because you give them rations, there's projects that you need to do where you need to kind of give people things, and so they're leveling up their base, or it's stuff that you then deconstruct and go to the White House and build things. So you can kind of build scopes, you can build new backpacks and things like that with all of this loot. So it makes it worthwhile kind of doing that. So sometimes when you kill someone, they will leave that kind of beam that will come up. You pick that up. You can then kind of use that later to, like I say, go to there's a desk where you can kind of then build. It's not the quartermaster, it's someone else, but you just go to the desk and then you can then just create those items. So last night I got a really high level. For me at the moment, I got a high level backpack, which was really cool, and it was about 150 above my other backpack level. So I just junked my backpacks, and then I've equipped that one. So that's what I mean. It's just, and that's what I loved about the original Division, was just kind of, you have a whole load of weapons. Always make sure before you go out on a mission that you
clean underpants.
You just go to your storage area and just drop everything off. So I always make sure that I have all of my highest level stuff equipped, my mask, my knee pads, the backpack, all of that, and then just store everything else and then kind of go out, because the last thing you want to do is you've got a whole load of stuff and you're finding new stuff and you can't add that to your back, because I think at the moment my backpack will only accept about 30 items, I think.
So it's a bit like it's a bit like State of Decay was like that, wasn't it? I've not played the second one, but in the first one you could only put a certain amount of stuff in your backpack, and then you went back and then you found a bigger backpack and you could put more stuff in it, and that's quite cool. I like that.
So that was working really well, and like I said, we went into Chinatown. We went into Chinatown last night. There was this area that we basically had to take over. This area, there was a gold guy, and gold is almost kind of represented. So you have your normal guys are kind of probably white, then you have purple that are maybe a bit tougher, and then you have gold. There was a gold guy there who was really kind of going for it. We managed to take that guy down, and then we took over that stronghold. The guys let me open the storage room. There was a storage room there. Let me open the room. Lots of loot. So we went in there, and then it flipped round on it. So we had to defend, and we had waves. So we had waves of guys coming to us. We did that. That area is now safe. And the great thing about that was, even though I was playing that in Matt's game, that area is now unlocked for me. That so if we jumped into your game, that would be available as a mission. So it works. So I mean, the logistics of that game working the way it's working is crazy. But
there's so much, as you say. It's I know when I was going from the White House to the theatre the other day, you could see the direction you've got to go, but it is a little bit like, I'm trying to think of, it's a bit like some of the other games I've played where, I can remember playing player v player in like Battlefield, in like Battlefront, and you think, I can go around that way, and I can go down that alleyway, and I can climb up that building. The only thing I didn't like about it, and maybe that's because I think it's because I got used to it in other games, was like when you went round the back and you had to go up a ladder. To go up a ladder, you had to press B to go up the ladder. You couldn't just like go to the ladder and it just jumped and you run up it. That felt a bit weird for me. But I suppose that's just because I've been playing, Odyssey, and because I've been playing Far Cry, which work like that. It's obviously it is a bit different. It feels a bit different. But have you connected your Ubi Club to it? Because I noticed the other day I got some free.
I have indeed. Yeah, I've connected that up because with the pre-order you got a whole load of stuff that kind of came there, and then also I noticed, because I had a whole load of Ubi points, there was some currency, there was some in-game currency that you could buy for like 20 Ubi points. There was lots of resource that you could buy for 20 Ubi points as well. So there was lots of stuff there.
I would say anybody who plays Ubisoft games, and I think that's pretty much all I've played for the last 6 months, I think do make sure you're on the club, because you do get some, on Assassins you got some skins for your ship, and you get some weapons, and I know annoyingly there was some, if you look back down the list, you do get some exclusive guns in Division for playing the beta and early access and things like that. So it's definitely worth getting in there. But I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward.
Absolutely, we'll have to make sure that we kind of coordinate and get that in, because, like I say, it was really funny last night. Just kind of, I was following Matt, and I was like, "What's that White House thing that's dangling off the back of your backpack, and he was like, "Oh, I got that for being in the beta." So we were like almost in the middle of a firefight. I'm just like, pause the game, go over to my character customization, go to the whatever it is, the trinkets, the chopski section, and then just equip that, to my backpack. I was like, it feels better now. At that point, Matt and Rob are down, but I'm okay because I've now got something dangling from my backpack.
Just gonna say, if it's a handkerchief in your back pocket, you just got to make sure which back pocket you put it in. It
was just so cool. I just loved it. And that as well, just being able to just jump in and customize your player at any point throughout the game, it seems like it should be in every game, but I think sometimes it's not. You normally have to go back to a base to kind of do that sort of stuff, but I can just go there and go, right, I want to equip this new holster that I've got, junk the rest, and then continue on with this mission. I'm loving it. I sat at work this morning, obviously working hard, but I sat at work this morning going, I just wish I was playing The Division. It was one of those ones where you were like, I really want to play The Division. I really want to play The Division.
What blew me away was, I don't think I'm getting confused, but at the beginning they do like credits at the beginning, don't they? Where they do like it was just the amount of Ubisoft studios that were coming up as being involved in it, and you were just like, it was like, what I don't know, the places like Ubisoft Vancouver, Ubisoft here, and you were just like, my God, how many? Obviously, how many of the individual studios have been involved in producing this game, and you can see why, because it was just those little things, like we're going back to the goodies, the loot you see around. Just the fact that it lights up with a little halo around it, so it just catches your eye, and just little things like that. And let's say when I was playing it the other day, and I went through that little foggy environment, and it was just, it really felt like you're in a foggy environment. It really, it was low level fog. It really made you feel like it was all of a sudden, very oppressive in there. And then when you got out the fog, it felt very spatial and glorious again. But it is an absolute stunning game, and I'd be amazed if it doesn't do very, very well. Yeah.
I mean, like I say, it unlocks tomorrow. I think for everyone, it's on release properly for tomorrow. And I just want to play it some more. I'm in London tomorrow because we're recording this on Thursday, so I'm in London tomorrow on Friday. But I just can't wait to get home, and then I just can't wait to get home because if you remember, I was saying last week, I've already booked the TV. I don't think.
Oh yes,
yeah, I've already booked the TV. Nicola knows. It was quite funny because last night she was like, "Oh, I'm not feeling very well." I'm like, "You need to go to bed. You really should go to bed." It's like 8:00. I'm like, we just watched a couple of we watched a DIY program. We watched watched the Bake Off, the Cancer Bake Off, Stand Up to Cancer. So I was like, you should go to bed. You should go to bed, dear. So she was like, actually, do you know what? Yeah, I should go to bed. I'm like, yeah. And then I was like, right, I'm staying. She wasn't even out of the door, and I had my headphones on, and the Xbox was turned on. So I can't wait to just kind of jump into more.
I'm actually looking forward to it, because obviously I don't think it's in the news, or it's in the part of the news, I think. But I know that it did say the other day that it supports Dolby Atmos, so I'm looking forward to firing that up in the demo room, because I think that will sound amazing in Dolby Atmos.
Yes.
With speakers above your head and behind you, that will really open up the immersiveness of it. So, but yes, looking forward to it.
Oh, I cannot wait to play some more of The Division. Like I say, I want to get into some more. I want to get into some of that story mode, and I just want to kind of get into the Dark Zone. I want to kind of see what the Dark Zone's like. But let's jump into the news. I'm sure we've got some Division news. I'm just looking down. We do have some Division news.
We do have. It's number one.
Yeah. But before we start the news, don't forget you can rate, review, and subscribe to this very podcast for free on iTunes, Spotify, and also on YouTube. So in the news section this week, we have all the latest from the Inside Xbox. So we're talking about the Air this week. Google hires Jade Raymond, and also the BAFTA nominations are in. But Stu, the first piece of news is with you.
So this one, ironically, I got back tonight and was doing a quick scoot around, because I like to do the news just before we go live.
Farm fresh.
Right,
Yes.
Yeah, because, America is behind us in many ways, but America is behind us, and everybody releases to American time. But I just noticed this on Kotaku's UK site, which was the Division 2 rewards players if they dance together or do nice things together.
What?
And immediately I thought of you.
Yeah.
So it basically was reported on a couple of days ago. Ubisoft's newest mega game, The Division 2, gives players points and virtual patches for 125 tracked activities. Some of them expected, some of them not, and some of them seemingly designed to encourage positive behaviour in multiplayer, which is always a nice thing.
Yes.
The activities are listed in the game's commendations menu and gives players many feats to try and pull off. There are standard tasks like getting 4 different types of enemy kills for 5 commander points, or killing elite enemies for destroying all its armour in a minute for 50 points. Commendations are grouped into categories including combat, feats involving fighting enemies, or discovering feats for encouraging and rewarding less violent and exploratory play. More compelling are the 25 commendations collected under the Teamwork tab. Most are obscure for people just starting in the game, but 8 are available. Show that the Division 2's players are trying to nudge people into helpful and playful multiplayer. A teamwork commendation titled Life Saving rewards players who respond to a group's call for backup in a main mission,
right.
reviving an agent in the group, and completing an objective without using any healing skills or med packs. These get you 50 points. Then skipping forward a bit, the Synchronization Award gives a group of 4 players who manage to perform the same emoji at the same time. So basically, you're now going to get points for star jumping, my friend.
Yes, at last, our star jumping is the respect that we deserve.
I got to admit, actually, when I went into it the other day, and it brings up the little wheel of different emotions you could do, I just went straight to star jumping. Yeah. I don't know why. I just went straight to star jumping.
It just feels so good. It feels so good. And it was so funny because I think the moment I kind of like warped into Rob and Matt's game, that's the first thing I did. And then Matt kind of came and just joined. And I think Rob was just clapping. It was just so much fun. It's just so much fun to do that. But it's really good that they're kind of rewarding, because there is that thing where we did it a couple of times last night where you go into, so say for instance where we were desperate for like a 4th character, a 4th player, but what you can do is before you go into that, before you start one of these little kind of battles or these little kind of, you can actually throw up a flare, so you can just throw it, and when you're playing, you'll notice in the bottom left hand corner it says like so and so has got a call to arms.
I saw that. Yes.
So that's actually someone going, give us a hand, we need to go in, and then you can just throw up that flare by holding X on Xbox, and then you can then kind of get people to come in and help you in your game.
So how do you find them? Do they show up on the map?
Must do. They must show up on the map.
I did notice there was, just reading through, because it's quite a long article, I did notice there was some interesting ones on there, like there's a Dark Zone Medic Merit rewards players for healing other players not on their team in the Dark Zone.
Good.
So yeah, it just seems as if it's it's just another nice little way to reward players, give them some in-game currency, because I think that's the in-game currency, isn't it? The little dot with the circle around it. But yeah, it's quite nice. You know, it's that whole Chivo side of things. It's just like, it doesn't give you like the Xbox Chivos, but it's a nice way of well, if I revive that person, or if I do that gives me some more credits which I go and upgrade my gun with, or something like that. So yes, it will be good. I will see many more star jumping now.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, if we get points for it, then that's just like that's all good. I haven't actually checked the achievements out, actually. I kind of tend to try and stay away from them sometimes, just because I don't want them to kind of give away what could be there, but I might have to check just in case there's some stuff that I need to be building towards.
I've noticed of late, I can't think what game it was, but I noticed of late there's more and more games now seem to have secret achievement, carry on playing to get this. So we'll have to have a look. So so next story's with you.
Absolutely. And Tuesday night, Microsoft had one of their, it was what month are we in? March's Inside Xbox. So they had an episode of Inside Xbox. I think it probably ran for probably about 45 minutes. I think it was.
It was a
very tight very tightly run inside Xbox, and all female inside
all ladies,
Xbox.
yeah.
So they were celebrating women in gaming, which was fantastic, and they had a whole female cast. But the kind of main points, and I'm getting this from an article on news.xbox.com, the main points that they announced this month was that the first one is that Minecraft is coming to Xbox Game Pass. So on April the 4th, anyone who has Game Pass and hasn't got Minecraft, which I'm sure that's a very small demographic. Stuart's waving.
That's me.
So
I've got it on my iPad, not on my Xbox.
Right. On your iPad, I guess you sign in with your Xbox account. I think on your iPad, don't you? And you're just like.
I don't know, to be honest. I'd have to go and ask Molly, because she plays it, not me.
But on the 4th of April, you'll be able to get Minecraft in Game Pass, which I thought was fantastic. I think that was kind of almost one of the tentpole Microsoft Studio games that was missing from Xbox.
Yeah.
So that's coming. So that's coming on the 4th, which is really good. The one thing that they've gone quiet about, I don't know if it was last E3 or the E3 before. I don't know if I dreamt this, Stu, but it was almost like Minecraft Super Duper mode, and they were going to do it in 4K, weren't they? They were going to do Minecraft in 4K, 4K HDR Super Duper mode, and I haven't heard anything about that since.
No, I think I was reading a thread somewhere on social media, and I was skimming through it, and I did see someone mention something about Super Duper graphics, but actually now you say that, I sort of saw it and didn't really think anything of it, and now you say that, I'm not sure. I don't know whether it's been updated. I mean, I'm assuming you've got it on your Xbox. I don't know whether it's been updated or not.
No, it hasn't. That's what I'm saying. It hasn't been updated yet, and it's maybe it'll come out. Maybe it'll come out in time for the next console, or maybe kind of E3. But first of all, it's coming to Game Pass, so that's fantastic. The next piece of news was quite a biggie. It was that the Halo Master Chief Collection is coming to PC. So it's coming to Xbox Game Store on PC, but it's also coming to Steam. And if you're a PC player, this seemed to be a big deal. I know that Manny and some of the guys in the WhatsApp group, they kind of they reacted to this as being quite a biggie. So the Master Chief Collection is coming to Steam and Xbox store on PC. But what they're going to be doing is they're going to be rolling it out. They're going to be rolling it out kind of game by game. So they're going to, instead of with the Xbox One, they just pushed out the Master Chief Collection. You had everything, and they kind of updated it. They updated it to 4K graphics. They added ODST. This one, they are saying that they're going to be, it's a journey that you're going on, and we're going to start with the kind of prequel to Master Chief's journey, which is Halo Reach. And I think I've said before in this podcast quite a few times that I'm a big fan of Reach. I like it a lot. I like Firestorm. Is it Firestorm? The firefight mode. I really enjoyed Firefight. I liked the campaign when you're switching between characters. I thought that was really cool. So that's coming to PC. They haven't given a date yet for when it's coming to PC, but they said it will be coming more news soon. I think we're going to get more news at E3, and we'll get onto that in just a mo. But they also announced that Halo Reach will also be coming to the Master Chief Collection on Xbox One in 4K 60 frames a second, similar to the other games. So you're going to get that Xbox One X enhanced version there. They did say that for anyone who owns Master Chief Collection now, the multiplayer is going to be free. So the ODST multiplayer is going to be free. If you're not in Game Pass, then you're going to have to pay for Firefight and the campaign for Reach. If you're in Game Pass, both Firefight and the campaign for Reach are free. Yeah. So, which I thought was a fantastic deal. I thought that was really good.
Yeah, I mean, some people might turn around and go, we've got to pay for it, it's an old game and that. But, fundamentally, they're taking their assets and ultimately they're trying to get fans to sign up for Game Pass. I mean, you've only got to look at the the news that we broke, the first ones to break it eventually
Yes.
once we release the pod, because we're not live. The news we broke last week about the Xbox One S all digital edition.
Yep.
I think I got that
Nailed
right.
it.
Yeah, and and fundamentally that they are just trying. They're doing. I mean, we've said it so many times. They're trying to just do the Netflix. They're all content is digital. They're just basically saying to people, pay this nominal fee and get all this content, as part of that fee. And actually, bolstering it by bringing in Halo Reach, and, bringing the Halo games out to the PC world. I know Phil has already, good friend of the show, Phil Spencer, has already turned around and said that, Microsoft or Xbox is about the gaming. It's not about the Xbox, the console, but it's about the Xbox environment and the gaming. So that includes all of the Microsoft brands. And yeah, I think bringing it on to Steam is brilliant because there is an avid following there, and and there's lots of launchers and that on PC now. I think Epic's doing their own, and and I think people like that, and I think it's going to open it up to more people, so it's going to be brilliant.
Yeah, absolutely. The funniest thing about this was that I think the subreddit for it was either Xbox PC or Master Chief Collection, there was a PC subreddit, and they basically said, to 343, if you do this, we, they kept canvassing them, asking them to please do it. They said, if you do this, we will buy you pizza.
Oh, that's right.
Exactly.
Okay, yeah,
so they actually they made a point of saying we actually bought this pizza ourselves, but just before I went up, 343 Studios have now kind of asked the subreddit to stop sending them pizza. They're actually calling it the Pizza Apocalypse, and I can't remember. I can't know of a world where there's too much pizza. But 343 have actually just asked all of the fans to stop sending them pizza. They have too much pizza at 343 Studios.
I need to go get a job at 343.
Absolutely. So they basically just said they've been inundated with pizza and they have too much pizza. So that's coming. We don't have a date. I'm guessing, which leads me nicely into the next point that they were talking about. I'm guess we're going to probably hear more, or maybe be that, and it's out now at E3, because they did say that we're going to hear a lot more, and it will be playable, of Halo Infinite will be playable, and we'll hear a lot more at E3 this year. So they've got their normal kind of, what they did announce was that the Xbox Fan Fest is back, and also the area that they had last year, they're turning it into Microsoft Plaza, Xbox Plaza, I think it was, not Microsoft Plaza, Xbox Plaza, where there's going to be lots of kind of different themed things, and it's going to be a week-long celebration of Xbox, but Halo Infinite will be at that show. So, you can just imagine Bonnie Ross coming out, giving that kind of whole speech, and then basically saying, and Halo Reach is now available now on PC and Xbox and Game Pass. You can just kind of imagine that that's kind of how they're building that up. So hopefully we're going to have that, and we'll hear more at E3.
Can't wait.
Next one was that, you'll love this, Stu, they released the Phantom White Special Edition controller, and Jessica Chobot showed off the new controller that's available from, I think, it's available to pre-order now, and it goes on sale on the 2nd of April. Quite a nice little controller. Yeah. You can see the insides. You can see You can see the mechanisms.
I got to say, actually, I quite liked it. It was I don't buy the regular controllers, but I did actually look at it and go, actually, that's a really nice controller.
It's very lovely.
Yeah, it is really nice. I've got an issue with my Elite controller in respect to the headphone jack won't work on it. So if I put headphones on, I think the speech works, so I can talk to people, and ironically, I can hear people talk, but I can't actually hear the game.
You haven't just got the mixer.
No, I've gone through that. There's nothing on the headphones to stop doing that. I've not taken the controller apart, but I've sort of blown dust out. I've got compressed air that I use at the office, because I have the same problem with my iPhone sometimes. When it won't charge, it gets fluff in it. I bought the white Elite that I bought home to use, but I did look at it actually, and ironically, as you were talking the last bit, I did click and go look, and I was hovering above the buy now, but I don't think I will. But yeah, it's a really nice controller, and again, kudos to Microsoft for releases a really good good controllers. Not just different colours, but actually, some stylish things, and and making it a bit of fun.
Yeah, absolutely. I think if Nicola hadn't personalised her own one that she loves, I think I would have bought this for Nicola, because it just is such a lovely controller. I love seeing the insides. I like that. I think there was a couple of N64 controllers that were a bit like that before, so it's quite nice just to kind of seeing all of that.
Did I ever tell you? Sorry to break off. Did I tell you about my Spider-Man controller?
No.
So I took my PlayStation 4 Pro up the office because I just wanted to play PSVR a bit more, and and I wanted a PlayStation up there for the den room. And then I can't think what it was. I was playing something up there. It was Spider-Man. Spider-Man came out, and I'm like, I'm not going to play it up there. I'm going to play that at the house. So I bought the limited edition Spider-Man console.
Yeah.
But I hate the PlayStation controller.
Right.
So I bought another one of those Onyx ones. Was it Onyx? I know.
Yep.
I bought another one of those, and I sold my Sony PlayStation limited edition Spider-Man controller, which was basically just red and white.
Yeah.
I really didn't like it, but I thought, let's just chuck it up on eBay. So I put it up on eBay and sold it for £200.
What? Wow.
Yes.
Holy moly.
So there was another idiot out there like me who overpays for controllers.
Wants controllers but didn't want the PlayStation.
Bought the controller, and there's nothing special. There wasn't like any Spider-Man branding on the controller.
It was just like white. The handles were white, weren't they? But it was that lovely red.
It was the lovely red, and the thumbsticks were white, I think. But so all I would say is if anybody's got any special editions out there and they want to make some cash back and they're not using the controller, chuck the controller up on eBay, because you might make some cash back. I mean, that console's only cost me, I can't think what they cost now. A couple £100 now.
Yeah.
Really. So
really,
tip of the day.
It really offsets it, doesn't it? It offsets that kind of price. So that's cool. Back to Xbox. And one of the things that they did they rolled out one of the guys from the xCloud. I was just looking at my notes and I didn't scribble down the guy's name. They rolled out one of the guys from the xCloud team, and they were talking about Project xCloud. They did say that we will be getting public trials of Project xCloud.
Me up.
Will be this year. So there's going to be public trials of xCloud this year, and then just to show everyone that it's working, they then brought out one of those controller iPhone or Android phone kind of things, all connected up. How I'm going to be playing on the train. They just basically brought out one of those. They gave it to one of the presenters, and she was playing Forza. She was playing Forza Horizon on the game, and was just there kind of going through. The car was out. It looked, obviously you're looking at it from mixer to the camera to there, but it looked stunning. It looked really good. It looked like it was running lovely. Obviously, it was a controlled environment, and so you take it with a pinch of salt, but the excitement that's building for that, it's just incredible. So they're kind of almost getting out in front of Google's potential announcement at GDC next week, which we'll talk a bit more in a mo. They're going to get out in front of that by just saying, here it is. It's real. We're in the studio. The studio is live. So when they film inside Xbox, that's live. That is kind of... So they just went for it, and they kind of showed it, and it looked great. It was a moment, and it looked absolutely stunning. So they're saying public trials will begin this year. They still haven't said when they're releasing it, but they did say that. And they also kind of went through just reiterating that, you'll be able to play it on iOS, Android phones, on iPads, and then you will also, there will be a console that is basically just going to be, almost a digital streaming console, but then there will be a proper beefy console as well, which will be, so you're going to get an Xbox One X, and then you're going to get a streaming console. So we're not going into an all streaming platform just yet, but that's coming.
Oh, well, I think that carrying on from our reckless behaviour last week, I've just gone on to an online app to find out flights, because I think we need to go out there. We need to make sure that if they're going to sign people up, it's going to obviously be people who go to E3 and make the effort. So return flight to E3 is £350 each.
What? That's a bargain. We can upgrade.
£348 each.
Wow.
Yes, we can go out and steam up the windows of E3 as well, trying to get in.
But I mean, the good thing about E3 is A, it's open to the public. B, the Microsoft stuff's just outside of E3 and is open. And FanFest is you have to be there, and it's the first people who sign up. It's interesting because E3 is a different beast now. It's somewhere I've always wanted to go. I've never been to E3, and I really would like. But it just seems like with EA kind of dipping out, and others kind of dipping out this year, it just feels weird that it just doesn't seem almost as special as it has done. I'm sure when we're in that E3 week, it's going to be amazing. But with EA, PlayStation not doing anything, it just feels like. But as Dave James and I was talking about a couple of pods ago, there is that possibility that the whole area of E3 could just be a whole Animal Crossing village, and that just sounds like it could be fun. So I think we should
with real sheep and real pigs.
We didn't book our tickets to Chicago, but we should damn sure book those tickets to LA now. Let's go. I think
we've got more time. We've got more time to plan.
And then there were some other things, but the final thing of note, which was very similar to what you were talking about, was that they announced that spatial sound and Dolby Atmos will be coming to, and they're rolling this out again gradually, but will be coming to every game on Xbox. So they're basically saying that they are mixing it. It's almost like the Xbox enhanced now means 4K HDR Dolby Atmos. So they're building that into the Xbox. So whether they're just kind of testing this for Scarlet and beyond, but they just basically said, to put it in simplest terms, in near future, all content you experience through your Xbox One is going to sound like it's been mixed for spatial sound. We also announced that the team is in the process right now of rolling out a wireless display app, and that was the wireless display app that basically enables you to play your PC games on your Xbox as well. So if you've got
I just read that on here now because they said that's available from Microsoft Store today. So yeah,
Dolby Atmos is going to be mixed into your whole Game Pass library, which just makes this kind of like just so much. Every time, Microsoft are just kind of rolling out more and more for the gamers features to the Xbox.
And DTSX as well, which is DTS's version of Atmos. I noticed they dropped the logo for that as well. So I think DTS are in it, Dolby are in it. I think it's great. I think it's brilliant because immersive audio is brilliant. I think spatial audio is great. And I think that if they could do that, in DSP in a set of headphones, or if they could do that, natively in an Atmos system with ceiling speakers and a full surround sound, it just makes it more immersive. It makes it feel like you're in the game.
Yes.
Something's creeping up behind you, or there's a loud bang over to your left. So I mean, hats off to them. The more stuff they keep on bringing into this, the more it is the console I think people are gonna start going to, and I can honestly see it flipping next generation back to being in Xbox's favour again.
Well, absolutely. I mean, I think obviously we're going to get some announcements in E3, which is not long away. So it's, but I guess first up we've got GDC, and it's probably time for you to kind of talk about Google's latest hire.
Yeah, I'm just having to go back to see which my story was. So basically, I saw this today on the Telegraph. And basically, it's Google hires former Ubisoft again in the pod, boss ahead of the big gaming push. Should Microsoft and Sony be worried? So it goes on. The next battle for the gaming hearts and minds looks set to be fiercely contested by the world's biggest tech giants, with companies across Silicon Valley looking ready to commit to conquering the world's most lucrative entertainment industry. Their statements of intent could have traditional players Sony, Microsoft, and Nintendo looking over their shoulders. Last night, this was on the 13th, this was reported. Last night it was announced that Google had bolstered its gaming credentials with appointed former Ubisoft and EA executive Jade Raymond as vice president. The move comes ahead of Google's big gaming push, with the company ready to unreveal its in open brackets, vision for the future at the keynote at the Game Developer Conference next week. Raymond revealed the news herself in a tweet, simply saying, joined Google as VP.
Yep.
There is no clarification on her role at Google. Raymond is a highly reputable, if I can say it, name in the gaming industry, regard for her talent of building and development teams. So yeah, quite interesting. You know, she's had massive success with Assassin's Creed with Ubisoft. Yeah, very, very interested.
Yeah, she went over to EA after Assassin's Creed and she built EA Motive, PopCap with EA, kind of made them into from an indie to an EA studio with like Garden Warfare, and was also working on the Star Wars games, the cancelled, unfortunately, not the Respawn one that we're going to get to see in a couple of months or next month.
Hopefully.
Well, we're definitely going to get it in Celebration because we'll be there.
Yeah.
We'll be there.
We'll be there.
It'll be like Antony and Stuart tour the world. So so yeah, I mean, she has amazing chops at kind of like I say, building studios, and she comes with a lot of experience and knowledge. So I think this is fantastic. I mean, also she's going to be joining the likes of Phil Harrison. He is the former PlayStation and Xbox exec, so he joined that team. I think he announced he joined the team just last year, and also Jack Boozer as well. So, and he was the guy who was behind PlayStation Now. And also PlayStation Home, if you remember that weird old PlayStation Home.
Yes.
So, so the three of those, you know, they have definitely got some experience and some skill behind them.
Yeah, I mean, what do you think? I don't know. Do you think Google's push is like their version of Project xCloud? You know, it's what they've been trialing as playing through Chrome, or do you think there's something? Do you think that's just to scratch the surface? Well,
over the weekend there was some horrible prototypes that I think were debunked and faked quite quickly.
Right.
But they were, I think they were images based on a prototype. So it was a prototype controller, and the controller didn't look great. But I reckon that there's going to be next week at GDC they'll be announcing a box. I think there'll be a box that they're going to be announcing, and that's going to be very much like that, like Project Scarlet, you know, that streaming version. You know, when you've got someone who has built PlayStation Now on PlayStation Home, and you have Phil Harrison and Jade Raymond, you know, you're going to be using them. So maybe we're going to get a box that is going to be streaming games, you know, third-party games, but also Google building something special. Maybe that's what Jade is doing, where she's building her own studio and making some games there. So maybe we've got playing the likes of EA and Ubisoft games, because I know that they did that Assassin's Creed on Google Chrome, didn't they? They did that test, and everyone was raving about that and saying it was awesome. So I reckon that there's going to be that. It's going to be a streaming box, but they're also going to have some of their own IPs as well to kind of go, just to kind of set it out from the rest of the crowd.
I think my only my only worry is that Google is one of these companies that can quite easily change its mind and just can it. I know they advertise for jobs for a rival to Sonos, the wireless music system, and they had a system out, and then all of a sudden they just decided, nope, gonna can it.
Yeah.
So I hope by the appointments they're making, they're throwing the money at it, and I think that because, you know, I think we reported on a few weeks ago that, you know, the British economy, how much the British economy gaming is worth over here now. So I think people are really looking at it and going, you know, well, you know, I think the opening weekend for Captain Marvel worldwide was 500 million. You know, then they're looking at like Red Dead Redemption and seeing how much money that took. And I think so. Hopefully, they're looking at it, going, "Okay, there's some serious money to make here. We need to start ploughing money into this, invest in it." And I hope it isn't just a flash in the pan for Google, just to go, "Oh, let's set up a division, see if we can make some money out of it." If it doesn't work, then they just can it. Because that we've seen that in our industry with home control systems, where there's been a lot of home control systems in America. You know, like Home Depot come up with one. They all jumped on the bandwagon. It didn't work, so they've basically just canned it. And now loads of people have got tech that doesn't work. and they've been told that, hey, after the whatever of this, you're not going to be able to use it anymore. So I just hope that this is a real thing, and they're gonna push it out. But competition's great. More competition, the better.
Yeah, we had that. Was it On Live? On Live was a thing that they gave out one CEX where you had an On Live box and everybody kind of had that, and you bought a controller, and then, like I say, they just kind of canned that because it wasn't really well. But I think there was more of a tech thing, wasn't working. Or On Live might have been what PlayStation bought. Maybe they bought that technology, So yeah, I'm absolutely. It's good that we're innovating, but if a lot of people are spending money on it, you do want it to be something that's kind of solid and kind of going forward for at least a good couple of years. So
you can rest assured that with Xboxes on all digital console coming out, you can rest assured that whatever that comes out, £150, £200, that's a good investment, and you're going to get a good life of gaming out of it. Like you still can play your PlayStations, your SNES and your NESs from years ago. So I hope that with everything going online completely, and if there is no physical media, that we don't get into that premise. I can't remember I remember talking about it. I don't think I talked about it here. I'm not sure about the whole fact of, like, if you buy a movie digitally off of someone like Apple, if their agreement with that studio ends, you don't get access to that film, even though you physically paid for it, if you haven't downloaded it. So I'm hoping if we do go all digital, we have a way of downloading that content that we've purchased, and so if something does happen, we still have that content, and not that, okay, I've sent it back to the cloud, but I can't download it now because that agreement with that third-party studio is finished with that certain provider.
Yeah. Absolutely. I mean, I think the only title that's happened so far in the last couple of generations was the PT demo, where if you had a PlayStation where you've downloaded PT, you can still play it. But if you've deleted it, then you can't download it again. But obviously, you got games like The Division, you got games like Destiny, you got games like Anthem. If they're not being supported on the back end, they're those games just don't work. Even if you have got them downloaded. But I'll be interested to see what the next couple of generations will be like. It's quite interesting, actually, because I was thinking to myself last week when I was in the office, so it might have been on Monday when I was in the office. I was walking to work, losing myself in thought, as I do when I'm kind of walking across London Bridge, and I was thinking about, where do I place the Scarlet boxes? So I'm thinking, all right, okay, when the new Scarlet boxes come out, I'm way ahead of myself. They're not coming out until next year, but I'm way ahead. I was like, where do I put them in the audio rack? Where do I put them in that cupboard? And then I was just thinking, I was like, well, I'll have to keep an Xbox One X. And then I was thinking, actually, I probably won't need to keep an Xbox One X, because if they keep this kind of backwards compatibility, I'm going to have the two Scarlets, one for me, one for Nicola, and then you'll just be able to play Crackdown 3 if you wanted to, because they'll be there, because we own it, because we're in Game Pass. Nicola will still be able to play Overcooked 2 on a Scarlet. It may even look better, and so I got quite excited about that next generation, that I won't need to keep an old console around, like keep an Xbox 360 around. And I know I don't have to do it now, because I don't need that Xbox 360, because I have Viva Pinata, Trouble in Paradise. I have it on disc and digital, so I don't need to, I don't need that Xbox 360 anymore. It's only if I want to keep it for nostalgia. But the fact that when Scarlet comes out, I can just get rid of both of our X's and just replace them with that, and it doesn't disrupt my Xbox gaming catalogue. And I got incredibly excited about that. That just because we're changing the number on the console doesn't mean that I have to let a whole load of games go, as we have done in previous generations.
Yeah, and I think you're totally right. I'll be amazed if all the legwork that they've put into backwards compatibility, I'll be amazed if you can't play all all your Xbox One X or S games on the new console. I think that would be a massive shot in the foot to themselves if they do that. So yes, it's and with Project xCloud, I'm just looking forward to being able to play something at home, go somewhere, flip out my phone with that funky little attachment for my controller, while I'm sitting in the van on site. This week I've been watching Netflix on my Mac, because I've just been sitting having my lunch in the garden at the people's house and just had Netflix up and just watched some Netflix, and been able to sit down for 20 minutes at the office and just basically play a bit of Division or a bit of Viva Pinata or something like that. It's just going to be brilliant. Just going to love it.
And the next piece of news is with me, and that is that the BAFTA nominations are in. So this afternoon the BAFTA nominations were announced. So we have the BAFTAs are live on the 4th of April. So the actual ceremony is 4th of April when they hand out the BAFTA awards. But they kind of released all of the nominations today. I won't go through all of them because there's quite a lot of categories, but we do have some standouts and some of the show's favourites as well. But I think the important ones, we had Artistic Achievement, and that is Detroit has been nominated, Grizz, God of War, Marvel Spider-Man, Red Dead Redemption, and Return of the Obra Dinn were kind of nominated for Artistic Achievement. Best Game, your Game of the Year, Stu, Assassin's Creed Odyssey, Astrobot Rescue Mission, Celeste, God of War, Red Dead Redemption, and Return of the Obra Dinn. I can't believe Spider-Man did not make that list. And then, more local for us, they had Best British Game, which was 1111 Memories Retold, Forza Horizon 4, well done Playground, Red Dead Redemption 2, The Room, Old Sins, Overcooked 2, favourite of this house, and a 2 Point Hospital. Debut game, we have Beat Saber, Donut County, Cultist Simulator, Florence, Grizz, and Yuku's Island Express. And then, kind of, from the show's favourites, we have Evolving Game, and it includes Sea of Thieves has been nominated for Best Evolving Game, and that's alongside Destiny 2, Elite Dangerous, Fortnite, Overwatch, and Tom Clancy's Rainbow Six. So well done to James and the team for that BAFTA nod. We also, if I continue going down, I think Overcooked 2 got nominated for 3 awards, including Best Family Game. But then if I just continue to scroll, multiplayer, in multiplayer we had A Way Out, Battlefield 5, Overcooked 2, Sea of Thieves, Super Mario Party, and Super Smash. So second nod for a Spark favourite, Sea of Thieves. So in that category, we got James versus Nicola. We've got Sea of Thieves versus Overcooked 2. So I'll be interested to kind of see what kind of comes out of that. And then also just kind of rounding it off, they also had, there was another one that I wanted to go through, which was narrative. So best,
I was just looking at that.
Yeah, so best narrative game, we have Florence, Frostpunk, God of War, Marvel Spider-Man, Red Dead Redemption 2, and Return of the Obra Dinn. So all games that have kind of appeared on this podcast at some point throughout last year, but I'll stick a link to the full nominations, but good luck to kind of Overcooked 2, and especially good luck to James and the Sea of Thieves crew.
Yeah, definitely. There's some really eclectic mixes there. There's looking at multiplayer game, the one that I keep meaning to play with you, A Way Out's in there.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's the Prison Break one, isn't it?
That's where you play the brothers. Yeah. But it's just looking at that, you've got A Way Out, you've got Battlefield 5, you've got Overcooked, Sea of Thieves, Super Mario Party, and Smash Brothers. That's such an eclectic mix of different gaming styles.
Yeah.
And I think that this is I think, like you said before, that I don't look at your news items until we're talking about them. And just looking through that, and looking at all the different categories, there's just some real mixtures of stuff in there, some real sort of headliner stuff. But audio achievement, you've got things you would expect like Battlefield, Detroit, God of War, Marvel, Red Dead Redemption, and then you've got Tetris Effect. And I think I remember one of the other podcasts saying, this is just amazing. We're in 2019 and there's 2 Tetris games, that can win Game of the Year or win achievements.
Yeah.
Well,
Giant Bomb gave Tetris Effect their Game of the Year last year. Which was completely bizarre. I mean, you're absolutely spot on with the multiplayer. If you'd have think, 3 years ago, and if I'd done my research, I would have done this. But 3 years ago, the multiplayer nomination would have probably been all first-person shooters.
Yeah.
And now you've got a prison breakout, 1 first-person shooters, some crazy cooks, a bunch of thieves, a plumber and his mate, and then all of Nintendo. It's just bizarre that you've only got 1 FPS in there, where, like I say, if you looked at kind of BAFTA's 2016 nomination for multiplayer, you could bet your bottom dollar that is just full of first-person shooters. It'd probably be like Destiny, Call of Duty, that sort of stuff. So it's really cool to see that the BAFTA, whoever the committee, the BAFTA committee, are definitely kind of coming at it from a nice mixture.
Yeah, and it's not been overrun by the Battle Royale games.
Fortnite,
because
yes.
Yeah, basically, Fortnite's not everywhere. I mean, I know I read in the news today that Apex Legends has hit a mark of, was it 50 million players or something like that, and that has been astonishing. That's been sort of like touted as being the most active game of the year so far. And I know we're only 3 months in, are we? I think. But it's nice to see that there's a real eclectic mix of game in there, and it just goes to show, anybody who's not a gamer, it's not about Fortnite, it's not about Call of Duty, it's not those games which make the headlines on the news, but there's some real gems in there. Florence, just some real short and sweet little games that have been are really well designed, really well thought for, and there's some stuff in there that you could play for 3 hours, and there's stuff in there that you could arguably play for 300 hours.
Absolutely, as James has done on Sea of Thieves. Absolutely.
Whenever I log online, he's always on that game.
It's so lovely. Actually, saying that, I probably won't get this pod posted until Saturday, but this weekend I'll be current. But this weekend they have they have an extra kind of XP, extra boot. I wouldn't call it XP, but extra kind of gold, extra rewards happening on Sea of Thieves to mark its year. We're almost up to a year of Sea of Thieves.
Wow.
Or it's going to be, you'll get extra gold, so when you turn in quests, there'll be extra gold and extra rewards that is coming to Sea of Thieves. So hopefully, I'm going to do a bit of editing on the train tomorrow. Hopefully I'll have this, you'll be listening to this on Saturday or Sunday. Fire up Sea of Thieves, because there's some extra loot waiting for you.
Tip of the week.
Yes, absolutely. So Stu, the final piece of news, sir, is with you.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to this one. Battlefield 5's Battle Royale mode Firestorm release date announced.
Oh, hello.
Yeah, so this was IGN's UK site at 9:45 this morning. So Tom Marks reports Battlefield 5's long-awaited Battle Royale mode Firestorm will be added as a free update on March the 25th.
Oh, okay.
Firestorm will be a 64-player Battle Royale with the option to play solo or in squads of 4, and it takes place on a new map called Halvoy. EA says it's Battlefield's biggest ever map, roughly 10 times the size of Battlefield's 5's already huge Hamada map, and will have expansive terrain with ranges from snow-covered mountains to open waterfronts and everything in between. The new cinematic trailer, which it's on IGN's website. I watched it when I was waiting to start coming on here, and it sold me straight away.
Right.
The new cinematic trailer gives us a first glimpse of the map and some of the other features of Firestorm, which include airstrikes, vehicles, and destructible environments. You can watch the trailer above. I just watched it, and it just seemed so. From what I can work out, you play as a team of 4. The trailer's quite comical because there's sort of two teams drop right near each other, and they both see each other run in the opposite direction, and one team unlaunches loads of like a machine gun into the other house, and obviously there's no loot in the other house, so all they do is throw a smoke grenade again, and then all of a sudden airstrike happens. But it looks, from looking at the trailer, it looks as if you'll be able to jump into air vehicles, so like helicopters. You'll be able to get in a helicopter, you'll be able to get in a boat.
Wow.
It looks like the ever decreasing ring is actually a ring of fire.
Right.
So it basically, and if it catches up with you, basically you burn to death.
You're toast.
It just felt very Battlefield. It felt, it was World War sort of era, so not modern shooter. And I mean, I've dabbled with Battle Royale games, like I think we all have. But actually, I'm quite excited for this one. I'm really looking forward to jumping into it, because I do like Battlefield, and I've said on the pods before, COD and Battlefield are my Christmas games, and I really, although I missed COD this year, I think I would have missed Battlefield more, because I really do enjoy the Battlefield games, and I think I'm really looking forward to jumping into this. It looks like it could be a giggle.
Yeah, absolutely. Do you know what? I don't know. They won't do it, obviously, but I think because I've heard that Battlefield 5 has kind of always undersold. I think their expectations of it selling. This could potentially help. This could give us a bit of a bump. But the best thing that they could do is add Battlefield 5 on the same day that this releases. Add it to EA Access.
Yeah.
Stick it in EA Access,
yeah,
and then make it one of the Vought games, and then, because I'm guessing you'll be able to buy cosmetics and things like that. If this is a free add-on, there's definitely going to be probably cosmetics and things like that you'll be able to buy in Battlefield, just so you can kind of stand out in that Battle Royale game. And it would just be great. I haven't used up my trial of Battlefield. I think I've only used a couple of hours, so hopefully when this goes live, that'll be available for the trial as well, so I can kind of dip in and kind of check it out. But I think the best thing they could do is just go, or even just give it a month. Give it a month and let it, or I guess no, because we're not getting an EA conference at E3. I was going to say, but what they could do is go, here's another edition. They're going to have those play events for EA. Here's the latest edition, and Battlefield 5's now in the vault. And then they will get, because right now Battlefield 5 has got to compete against their own the Respawn game, which Apex Legends, which I was blanking on. They got Apex Legends, PUBG, Fortnite, and now this. So the easiest way to get a lot of people in is by giving it away with EA Access.
Well, I think COD as sort of like with Blackout, they went down the Play platform for that, and I think that's obviously worked for them. I mean, it was a full price game, so can you buy Blackout on its own? Can you just buy it? I know you could buy it without zombies, I think.
No, I think you can only buy Call of Duty. You can buy Call of Duty multiplayer pack, so that means, because obviously there's no single player campaign, that better be back next year. Because there's no single player campaign, you're buying the multiplayer, which is the Battle Royale and the normal kind of multiplayer COD game.
Yeah, I think I think Fortnite and Apex Legends have proved, especially with Apex Legends just recently, I think that's proved that, people, and even if you flip it over to like Crackdown and Sea of Thieves, I think that when it's part of a subscription service or when it's free to play, you get people that would never play that game, playing it. Yeah. We've all sat, in our PJs on a Saturday morning and flicked on Game Pass and gone, I fancy something different.
Yeah.
And I think what they've got to be careful is they've been promising this to the Battlefield diehard, and I've got a few friends who are Battlefield diehards, and so I think they've got to release it as it is. But I think you're right. Give it a few months and then go, look, guys, we're gonna drop some more content for Battlefield 5, because I really want them to drop some more content for that. I don't think it's going to happen, but I love that game. I thought that was brilliant. But then go, okay, look, for all of you guys that have jumped in and played Firestorm for the last 3 months, we're going to give you Blur.
Yeah.
But we're going to make it available on EA Access as part of the subscription. it's just not the, I mean, I think you're right, actually. I think if we're March now, it would usually be coming on EA Access probably September, October time anyway.
Yes,
because I know I'm always a year behind on the FIFA games because I play the FIFA games for the storyline. I don't really play it for the playing with friends online or things like that. So I think that I think they should do that. They should reward the loyal people who are there, but then give them something like skins or whatever in-game currency, and then release it. Because I think you're right. The problem is people will play content that's free and over content that they've got to pay for unless they're really involved in that game. And I say Apex Legends is going down is the firestorm of itself at the moment. And I think I even heard somewhere today they were saying, look, why don't they just delay it? Why don't they just push it into April, push it into May? Yeah. Give Apex Legends the room it needs for people to play with it. Then this is the new hotness, not this is doing really well. Let's try and get everybody over. They then pay some of the famous streamers to come over and play it, and then they then run the risk of they then go back and play something else, or they don't stay there. So I think they should push it back slightly. Although I really want to play it when it comes out.
Absolutely, even if I think what we're talking about here is it would make a lot of sense, and even if they just delayed it for a couple of months and then just made that Battle Royale part, whatever this mode is called, what's it called, Firestorm mode. Even if they put Firestorm mode in the vault. So break it out. So you can't play the single player campaign, like you say, until maybe September. But you can play Firestorm mode, because what they need is they don't need people from Apex, because that's obviously the same. But a couple of podcasts that I listen to on a weekly basis, they're clambering for the season pass. They want to give Apex Legends money. They're like, give us the season pass. We want to kind of put some money into this, and we want to get the next characters. We want to do this. So I'm just really interested to see. Did EA not expect Apex Legends to be as good as it is and to be as accepted as it is? And the fact that they just kind of put that out, because they are just going, okay, that really awesome Battle Royale game you've got, here's another Battle Royale game. And if it's not as good, then people are just going to, it's going to be dead in the water. But if they gave it another couple of months, let the Apex Legend kind of roller coaster just continue to roll, release that season pass, leave that, and then bring this out. Bring this out at E3. Don't bring it out on the 25th of March. Bring it out at E3. Bring it out at June after an event.
Especially say if it is technically it's a Battlefront year this year. Although there doesn't seem to be anything about that in the rumours. So what's coming? Is it a Battlefront? Is it a Battlefield this year? So I think you're right. If it is not a Battlefield, then they could almost do the Assassin's Creed Odyssey, where they're saying, look, we're not going to make it a one in 2019. We're going to give you more content, which will take you through to where we release a new one in 2020. And I think the one thing it's got going for it is a World War shooter. So it's different to all of the ones that are out there at the moment. It's different from the cartoony Fortnite or the futuristic Apex. So I think that has that benefit to it. But I think if they were to push it back a month, or really go for it, I think that would benefit it.
It'd be interesting. Can't wait to see what happens. And that's it. We've run out of news stories, Stu. We've run out of news stories. So that's about it for this episode. Big thank you for listening. Stu, thanks very much for pulling up a mic.
Anytime. Thank you for having me again.
2 weeks running. This is good stuff. Stuff.
Hat trick next week. Hat trick next week.
Don't forget, you can keep up with us at gamersoflostspark.com. You can also find us on Facebook. On Twitter, we're at LostSparkPod. You can also find us on YouTube and Gamers of Lost Spark, PS4 Community, and Xbox One Club. Stu, where can people catch up with you?
You can catch up with me as General Letdown on Xbox and PSN, and on Twitter as Mr. Stuart Burgess.
Excellent stuff from me. I am Chessman on Xbox Live and Nintendo Switch, PS-Chessman on the PlayStation Network, and Chessman UK on Twitter. Don't forget, if you have any feedback or any questions for us, please send it to our email address. That's feedback@gamersoflostspark.com. That's about it. I'm going to go and rest my throat. I'm starting to get a sore throat. I know what that's about. Get my Strepsils.
I'm going to fire up my Xbox and play Division.
I can't believe you haven't fired it up throughout this. I was going to say to you, Stu, just grab your phone and do it using your phone, because you can remote control from your phone. But
yeah,
I wanted concentration on the pod. Damn you!
I'm sort of sandwiched with a table and water and that next to me, and my phone is there, but my Xbox controller is tantalisingly close. So schoolboy error. Next time, the remote control for the Xbox will be next to me.
Always keep it with you. Excellent stuff. Right, say goodbye, Stu.
Goodbye, Stu.
Catch you later on. Cheers, bye.
Bye.
I need a Strepsil.